Guys, look at this article. What's wrong with this article, Anis? It says Malaysia still debating whether to return to GST. Interesting, right?
Wow. Yeah, so interesting.
Wait, I'm still confused about all the GST and SST stuff. Why did Malaysia even switch from one to the other? Can someone explain it to me?
Sure. So let me down and simply as I can. So back in April 2015, Malaysia introduced GST, which is Goods and Service Tax. It replaced the old SST, Sales and Service Tax system. This idea was to make the tax system more transparent, efficient, and it's harder to the taxpayer to avoid paying tax.
Exactly, Anis. Based on what I searched, GST is a multi-stage tax. That means it charged at every step of the supply chain, from the factory to us, the consumer. And the good part is businesses can claim input tax credits, so they're not double taxed.
Oh, so GST is like more detailed and organized. Sounds better. So why did Malaysia get rid of it?
Good question. Many people feel like GST made the price go up. Even though it wasn't always because of all the GST, people didn't like it. So when the new government came in 2018, they stopped charging GST. Then in September 2018, they brought back the old system, which is SST system in taxation.
So SST came back in 2018, but isn't that the same system we had before GST?
Yes, exactly. SST is what we call single stage tax. The sales tax is usually 5% or 10% and is charged only at the manufacturer or importer level. Why? Then there is a service tax, which is 6% and is applied to certain services like hotel, restaurant, foods and telecommunication. So as you guys see, every purchases and on our receipt or invoice, there in the below there is a 6% charge tax.
So basically SST is two separate taxes, one for goods and one for services. But GST, it was just one single tax rate, right?
Yes, correct. GST had one standard rate of 6% and it was applied to most goods and services. That made it a broader but also more complex.
And because GST covered more items, so the government earned more from it. From the GST. That's why some economists support it because it helped lower the country budget deficit. You could also see the GST amount on the receipt, but with SST, the tax is usually already included, so it is not as clear. When you look at the price, it is not clear.
Oh, wow! I didn't know that. So it's just not about how much we pay, but it also about how the system works behind the scene.
Yeah, that's why the topic of bringing back GST still comes out every now and then. Some people support it, some don't. It really depends how it implemented.
But I'm curious, what is the difference between GST and SST?
So let us watch this video. Hi everyone, today I will giving you differences about SST and GST. Firstly, about SST, it's implemented since 1970 and currently undergone only a few improvement time by time. So under SST, the tax rate it's range between 5 to 10% for goods and a fixed 6% for services. However, one of the major drawbacks of SST, it has low transparency, and many importers, manufacturers and retailers have been known avoid paying their fair share through tactics like transfer pricing. On the other hand, GST was introduced on 1st April 2015, announced during budget 2014. It came with a fixed 6% of tax and aim to solve several problems associated with SST. GST is more transparent and helps reduce issue related to misappropriation and tax payment errors. Unlike SST, GST is charged at every level of the supply chain, from manufacturers all the way to consumers. Retailer can claim tax reimbursement, making the system more efficient and fair. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hey, do you just hear that government used to make more money from GST than SST?
Oh yeah, I remember that. GST was that tax that hit every step of the supply chain, right?
Yeah, exactly. GST charged at every stage, from manufacturing to sale. So the government can earn more from the GST.
Oh, I see. Right, but SST is only charged once at the final sale, so the government collect less revenue.
Makes sense. Under GST, the business can claim tax credit to get back the tax paid for the earlier purchase, such as for the raw material.
Oh, so GST encourage proper record keeping and makes tax avoidance harder.
But SST doesn't have that kind of system, right? So you could end up paying tax on top of a price that already included tax. Such a messy.
But don't forget, SST only covers on certain items or services. So it's covered less than GST. So at the end, GST collect more by covering more items rather than SST at every step.
GST was unpopular because people feel like the cost more.
Yeah, but from revenue perspective, it was definitely more efficient than SST.
I was just thinking, why do some snacks suddenly feel more expensive these days?
Oh, you know, we used to have SST in our tax system. That was just a one-time tax when something was sold.
With SST, the only final sale of package of food was taxed. The ingredient and packaging were taxed separately.
But the thing is, business cannot recover tax paid earlier. So they pass the cost to the final price, make the things more expensive.
Oh, I get it. Even though SST is charged once, costs add up because company pass the tax to consumer.
Exactly. GST is charged in every stage, but the business can claim back the tax they already paid.
That system helps keep price fair, right? Because companies are just taking tax on top of the tax.
Yeah, like for snacks, producer pay GST on the ingredient and packaging to get it back, keeping price lower.
Does GST also cover more stuff than SST?
It does. GST cover more product for some items, like certain foods may cost more now, so it's kind like of trade-off. GST balance business tax, but can make some item price for consumer.
Oh, pretty much. It's about how tax flow to the supply chain.
Okay, hi guys. Now I want to interview a few students of KPMIM about GST and SST on why SST is more preferable rather than GST. So now, let's go. Miss, please. I want to ask you, in your opinion, what do you think the difference about SST in terms of impact to the public?
Oh, okay. So I think SST in front of the public, it is more visible to consumer and it's not detailed like GST. And the GST, they have so many stages and details. So it's more acceptable to consumer to use SST.
Oh, alright, I understand. Thank you for your opinion.
Thank you.
Okay, now let's ask the other person. Let's go. Hello, Miss. Can I ask you something?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Now, many people say that GST is more efficient than SST. But in your opinion, why did the government remove GST and replace it with SST?
I think because of the citizen reaction. Because when we have GST, living expenses become more expensive, and even all goods in the supermarket become more expensive, and I can't even buy my favorite foods anymore.
Among the B40 group, they saw like GST as a burden lah.
Yes, correct.
Okay, thank you for your answer. Now, let's ask the third person. Let's go. Hello. Can I ask you some question?
Yes.
I want to ask you about GST and SST. So, in the end, in your opinion, why did you think the government still using SST rather than GST?
For me, I think SST is more understanding to citizens like us, and although the rate seems higher, but it's not everything are being charged. Like small business are exempted. So I think SST is less burden for my daily expenses.
I see. Thank you for your opinion.
Thank you.